Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. The reason why my wife and I, Hani and I, decided to do this is because we were going to do a Suda Sedaya Thanksgiving meal to thank Hashem for the many miracles we have seen with Shmuly. And unfortunately, due to the situation, we couldn't do a physical Suda Sedaya. So we chose to do a Suda Sedaya, a Thanksgiving sort of Zoom keynote, and make open it to everyone who wants to join us and attend, especially around this time when we have such challenging times. We always use chizuk and emunah and bitachon, and this is a story that is full of emunah and bitachon. So we're going to I want to thank so much I want to thank so much COL for hosting it and arranging everything. They've been very helpful. Micah and her team have been always super helpful in all of this. And we're thanking you for the great job you're doing in the community in good times and better times. So basically, this whole story begins with a JLI course that we had here 2 years ago before Lag BaOmer. And during the course, one of the classes was the day before Lag BaOmer. And somebody who attended the course, he was new, we didn't know him before, came here, and at the end of the course, he handed me a bow and arrow, Chetz V'Keshes, and he said, I know tomorrow is Lag BaOmer, I know there's a meaning to play with this, so here, take it. I took it, and I put it aside, not even really examining what type of bow and arrow it is really. I've never really been, I've never seen such a bow and arrow before. And I just laid it aside.
It was a real one, the one that's being used to hunt animals. So it's meant to kill.
And obviously we didn't realize that. So, put it aside. And the next day, my wife Hani and I are busy preparing for Lag BaOmer. And suddenly we have a very big property here, and suddenly we hear screaming from outside, and we come outside, walk out, and we see Shmuly is running towards us, and his eye looked frightening, and we right away realized this is something serious going on.
It's good.
Which one are we? So we are. Sorry, someone got put on mute. So, we got right away. My wife's calling 911. I was holding Shmuly, and I realized something. I realized it's a very serious thing going on, and quickly I picked up my phone. I called the oil, and I asked Abba to please put it into the oil. Meanwhile, the paramedic arrived here and started examining Shmuly and see what's going on with him. And I was getting ready, putting my stuff together to get ready to go to the hospital with Shmuly. So it's Lag BaOmer. It's a couple hours before the event. We have the Lag BaOmer event going on.
At the same time, we're actually preparing also for the brace of our son who was born just 5 days earlier. So we're also preparing for that.
So basically, we had Hani was a few days after the birth, and with the baby, and we were preparing for Lag BaOmer, and I was preparing my stuff, putting my stuff together to go into the ambulance with Shmuly as they were preparing to take Shmuly, and when I go into the ambulance, my wife is telling me, by the way, you should know the paramedic is Jewish, and she should talk to him, invite him to come. And I was like shocked. I was thinking, my wife, she was so frightening to seeing what's going on. And at that time, to think about this Jewish paramedic and to invite him but that's how shluchim think. And so I said, okay, it's good you let me know. Coming to the ambulance, and the guy in the ambulance started asking me question, but I'm busy with the phone, calling Israel, making sure that it's going to be brought to Abishim Vayachai, that the people go and daven there. And they couldn't talk to me. They was trying to say, I didn't understand what's going on. Like, they're taking care of my son. My son is in such a difficult situation. They can't get me to answer the question. But I was busy doing that, sending a bunch of WhatsApps to Israel, to my family there and my wife's family. And we reached the hospital. We got to the hospital, and we came into the trauma room. They brought us to the trauma room. There were about 20, 30, at least 20. I'm not exaggerating. At least 20 nurses and doctors, and even had a chaplain there. And they all came there. And obviously, when they heard this, a bow and arrow was shot into the child's eye, they, expected much worse. And chaplain came to me and said, you okay? Do you need anything? I told her, all I need right now is I need a pen and paper. I need the black paper and a pen. I need to write down something. And I needed to, and while I was taking care of Shmuly, I wrote a letter to the OL. And I wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and I sent it to the OL. Sent it from my phone to the OL, and I opened up the Yigas Kodesh we do it online. There's a way where you can open up an Yigas Kodesh. So I opened it up, and there was a letter, there was an answer from the Rebbe, a very clear answer, that a very clear bracha, that something was the words Yachzer le'esonei, she should come back to his strength. And for me, that was already, I realized, the Rebbe heard me, and Baruch everything would be good. So I went back to the bed, and we were calling a bunch of doctors, and I was telling my wife when I left, and also from the hospital, I said to her, do me a favor, today is Lag BaOmer, don't be sad, just, be happy, and don't think about that. You focus on preparing for Lag BaOmer, and let me take care of the hospital and the doctors and everything here. So that's what we did. And I was calling a bunch of doctors. We had a friend doctor here, and a bunch of eye doctors through other shluchim who right away responded to me and put me in touch with their doctors. And we were trying to see what's the best thing to do. Are we keeping him here in Tallahassee? Are we flying him somewhere else to take a surgery? Do we need to go to a better place, a bigger hospital, etc.? And there was a lot of decisions that we had to do. And finally, I called one of a Jewish doctor, an eye doctor, walked in the hospital, and I told him, seems like everybody's saying, all the other doctors we're talking to in Miami and other places, it seems that we need to take him, we need to make the surgery here, and I can't wait. So I want to know that the doctor who's making the surgery is going to be a valid doctor, is a good doctor, and so he told me, listen, the doctor that is on call is actually a very good doctor. I know her very well. She's been in Tallahassee for 2 years, but she has very good training, and you're in good hands. So she came and checked Shmuly, and everybody that checked Shmuly, and she talked to our doctor here, and everybody who talked to the doctor here, said you need to do the surgery there, and basically it's a very, very severe injury. The doctor who advised us here, a friend doctor, told us that he used this expression, said the eye exploded like a watermelon. And he said, you basically have no choice, but it looks like you're going to have to take the eye out. And that's what you got to do. You want to save his other eye, you're going to need to take the eye out. But they tell us that they don't know what we're going to do, what they have to do until they're going to make the surgery. And doing the surgery itself, they may decide to remove the eye. They don't know what's going to happen. They need to first go in to do the surgery. And my wife had called me and says, what do you want? What can I get you? You're there for a couple hours. Well, what do you need? They said, send me some food, but more important, send me the tefillin. I want to make sure to put tefillin with this paramedic before we go into surgery. But until the paramedic came, we were already in the surgery room. In the preparation room, but the anesthesiologist was there, the eye doctor was there, and I turned to them and I said, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to wait. I have something very important I need to do because the paramedic just arrived. And I went out and we went to a separate room outside the waiting room, and we put on film with the paramedic. And then after we finished, we came back and they took Shmuly into the surgery. And so the surgery itself, the doctor told me it's an hour. If I come out after an hour, this is good. If I come out after 3 hours, that's not such a good sign. So, I don't know what's going to be. When I come out, I'll be able to tell you what's going on. So I was there by myself. There's one other person there from the community, and I took Tehillim and I daven, and I said Tehillim all the time. And after the surgery, she came after I think like 3 hours, was it? And she told me that the surgery was. She showed me that the eye was very, very badly severe, 360 degrees around, and she gave me all these explanations. And she told me that she actually thought to take the eye out during the surgery. And the reason why she didn't do it was because she has her own 4-year-old, and Shmuly was then 4, and she kind of felt something for him, and she said she had to give it a chance. But she said there was other surgeries like this that I just taking the eye out on the spot. So I saw that as the first nest already that the eye was not taking out. So we were in the hospital for just I think a day or two, and then this Shabbos, that coming Shabbos, we were going to have a bris to our son, to our baby born son. We actually had 2 brisim. We had one for a baby in the community that my wife arranged for the mother, convinced the mother to do a bris, and one for our child. Luckily enough, all the shluchim in Florida came together. They arranged for sending the moyel, Rabbi Yochanan Klein, out here, and he came. He brought all the food. Another good friend that came here to Tallahassee, Abi Friedman from North Miami Beach, and he had some experience with medicine, and it all turned out, he was the sandak, and it all turned out like a big miracle, because when he arrived, Friday afternoon, late afternoon, I came back with Shmuly from the hospital, and he came back and he was crying, he had a lot of pain. We were thinking about whether to leave him in the hospital or not, but the doctor said on the medication, he should be able to do okay in the house. So he came back to the house and he had a lot of pain, this crazy pain. And we realized that we have to go back to the hospital because they couldn't find in the pharmacy, they couldn't have the right medicine. My friend who was involved with pharmacies before, went with me, and we ended up being right before the hospital. There was a pharmacy there that had the medicine. We gave it to him, and it calmed the pain down. But Shabbos morning, he actually had my friend again. It was a blessing that he was here, because he actually had to go and speak to pharmacists. You had to call the doctor. You had to take the car to drive around to get the medicine. So, and also putting the medicine into Shmuly's eye, putting the eye drop in. We had to put the eye drop into his eye, to his injured eye. So we had to take the bandage off, and it was like something I just couldn't do. I didn't feel like I could do. Not to talk about my wife. She definitely didn't think she could do that. She said, "This is new hand. You got to do it." And my friend Abi was really, tremendous help here when he came, and he took care of. He told Shmuly, "I'm a doctor," and he convinced Shmuly that they could take care of him, and he was able to give him the eye drops and show us how to do it. And Rabbi Klein took care of all the physical and all the preparation needed to be for the bris. And then, before we came from the hospital home, the doctor came to check Shmuly's eye. And we were told that if Shmuly is able to see, the eye is able to see, then light something, then there is a chance that we could do something to save the eye. But if the eye doesn't see, a couple of days after the surgery, then there's no chance, and we'll have to basically do another surgery to remove the eye. So we didn't know what to do. We consulted people, we talked to other people, and she checked them, and he didn't see light. after Shabbos, we came back to her and taking 1 or 2 visits, and we still couldn't see light. Shmuly couldn't see light, and she said, "Listen, there's nothing else to be done. You have to remove his eye." And I was always, throughout the time, from the beginning, I had tremendous emunah and bitachon, and I have brachas from the Rebbe, and I didn't have I didn't have like a doubt at all that this is going to be good, and we won't have to remove the eye. And every time I was sometimes even just singing to myself, there's a song in Hebrew called Ani Ma'amin B'Nisim. I was just like really, every time I had a doubt, I was like really strengthening myself and full of emunah and bitachon without having no question, no doubt that the Eibishter will help and it will be good. They didn't know how, because so far everybody, our friend's doctor and everyone else says, nothing can do anything. We're gonna have to remove the eye. And I said it's gonna be good. Meanwhile, we were talking to Rabbi Klein and Rabbi Yechon Klein as a big Kochelim organization in South Florida, and he's connected with many doctors. And he said, "I'm going to arrange for you a visit with Doctor, very famous doctor in Baskin Palmer in Miami. It's one of the best places, and go and see this doctor there." He emailed the doctor. He got in contact with the doctor. It usually takes weeks and weeks to see this doctor to get an appointment, but he made it happen. And we came to, we flew a week after the surgery. I think it was a week after the surgery. Oh, less than a week. Whatever. It was like
3 days after.
3 days. A couple of days after the surgery, I flew down to Miami for this appointment. And my hope was that, okay, here is B'derech HaTava, here is a chance that this boy could be helped. And because this doctor in Tallahassee said nothing could be done. But he's a big doctor, and a bigger doctor, a bigger malach, and a bigger angel. And we're gonna go to him, and Mitzvah Hashem is to be good. So they arranged for the apartment. My son and I flew, and he arranged for us a house to stay. There's a big cholim home. We stayed there, and we went to the appointment. It took a couple hours for us to, till we did all the checkups and the test, and we saw the doctor. The doctor checks him out there, and he's like the biggest expert, the worldwide expert in these things. People come from all over the world, and he's like going to tell us if there's something that could be done. So he checks him out. He checks the test and everything, and he checks if he sees light, and he doesn't see light. So the doctor told me, "Listen, you have 2 choices. One choice could be when you're going to take the eye out, and then the other eye will definitely be good. Another choice is that you could do a surgery, and for the surgery, there's a big chance that after the surgery, the surgery could make it where it's going to impact the other eye, and then it could be a big problem. So I don't really recommend you to do the surgery, especially when you don't see light. I think the right thing would be to remove the eye, but leave the decision up to you. You decide what you want to do." So here we are presented for a decision, a very critical decision to do is to move his eye or not, to do the surgery and to risk the other eye, or to remove the eye. I said, wow, first, until that point, I had a lot of emunah and bitachon. At the moment the doctor came out, after he said what he said, I felt like I wanted to burst out crying. But in a split of a second, I caught myself and I said, "What, doctors? Who cares about what doctor says? The Eibishter will help, the emunah and bitachon. What are you going to do when the doctor says, give you a choice between removing your child's eye or risking the other eye? You go to the oil, go to the Rebbe." So I right away arranged for our friend, Rabbi Storfer, who took care of all the traveling that we needed to do. And I tell him, make me a ticket to go straight to the oil from here. And Rabbi Gopin, who was there next to the hospital, brought over food. And we, from there, we basically went straight to the airport and flew to New York. Came to the oil and I davened. I told the Rebbe, "Listen, we are your shluchim, And this is a time that we need you. This is a time that we cannot make this decision ourselves. This is a time when we need your help, and we need a clear, bracha. I mean, a clear irah to what to do during such a time. And meanwhile, there is a financial side to all of this. And we have a very good friend of ours, Rabbi Goldman, in Gainesville, who jumped into sending emails out and putting it in the CRL Live. And the support that we got from Shluchim and from Anash all over the world really enable us to seek the best care for Shmuly. And Shluchim help with getting the tickets and getting food and everything that needed was like really felt this thing of the Chassidim are ein mishpacha. We always as Shluchim, we always help people and people come and people listen and people speak about how Shluchim been helping other people, and here we felt this love and this outpouring of love and support from Shluchim and Anash literally all over the world. We're davening, we're raising money. It was amazing, really amazing to see. So after we I came to the Oyel and asked the Rebbe, demanded, I shouldn't say I asked, I demanded from the Rebbe a clear instruction, a clear bracha, a clear eirah. What do I need to do? So we slept at the Oyel, up there in the house next door. And meanwhile, before we went, I called from the way to the airport, I called the doctor here in Tallahassee. And I told the doctor in Tallahassee, I heard there is a very big eye institution in Wills, Philadelphia. Could you set me up an appointment there? I want to go and check another opinion. So, and again, setting up an appointment there was almost impossible as well. But since she actually trained there, so she knew the people there, so she called and arranged a visit with the doctors there the next day. So woke up in the morning, I went to the Oyel, drove to California with Shmuly, went to see the doctors there. The doctors check him out, they do the test, they look at other tests, and he said he doesn't see light. We don't think there is anything to do. And again, they said there may be a surgery that you could do, but I don't know if we could recommend to do that. It's very complex surgery. But they said there is a doctor, the doctor tells me there is a doctor that I trained with in California. And he's the one that I would seek his opinion. So I said, okay, could you make me an appointment for tomorrow with a doctor in Los Angeles? So he said, yeah, let me call him up. And Dr. Schwartz, Stephen Schwartz, I'm going to call him up and I'm going to try to set you up with an appointment. So he gave us a call. He set us up with an appointment there. And next day we set up a flight. And we were driving back. And while we were there in Philadelphia, we had the shluchim there give us food. While we were driving back, something very special happened. And I will give this to my wife to say what happened there.
So basically, we were faced the decision, a very horrible decision for a parent to make. And we had, like the doctors told us, basically, if we can either do a surgery to fix the eye, to try to fix the eye, the chance of actually getting the eye fixed is very, very low. But there is a chance, but just not a big chance. And the chance for, especially that it doesn't see light for already a few days, and everyone knows that when the eye, first of all, if it doesn't see light, that means that there's no, the nerves are damaged, and there's probably no going back in that. And also the muscles they're not working, so there's no point. On the other end, the eye, it is possible to try to fix the eye, but it's a very, very complicated surgery. And not only that, the risk to the other eye is once one eye gets sick, it presents a risk to the other eye. But with the surgery, the risk, I think, doubles. There's 50% more chance than what it was before. Still a small risk, but it's a risk. So basically we had to, and the doctor in Miami also told us that even if we do the surgery, about 50% of the success of the surgery depends on if laying down. The patient after such a surgery is supposed to lay down on his stomach, like facing down, for 2 weeks. And he said it's even hard for older people. So for a child, there's no way that a 4-year-old child is gonna end up doing it. So, but again, they're leaving the decision in our hands. So we have to make this decision. I'm at home with all the kids and the new baby. My husband Schneur is with, with Shmuly, going from one doctor to another, and we just don't know what to do. And I'm sitting, and of course I'm crying, can't stop crying, and I'm sitting on the cars. There's a Rebbe picture, a big Rebbe picture right in front of me on the wall, and I'm looking at the Rebbe picture, and I'm saying, Rebbe, we need an answer. What to do? Should we do the surgery? Should we not do the surgery? Should we remove the eye and just count on the other eye? Forget about that eye to ever heal, and just as long as he has the other eye, or should we fix that eye, try to fix that eye, but take the risk? I just couldn't even get myself to even think about the pros and cons of the surgery, and it's just such a terrible decision to make for a 4-year-old. As I'm thinking these thoughts, and I'm thinking to myself, where are the days where we would go to the Rebbe and the Rebbe would give us a clear guidance whether we should do the surgery or not. My phone's in my hand, so I decided to open my phone. I don't know why. And I see a Facebook message. During that time, since the accident, the days after the accident, I got tons and tons of WhatsApp messages, emails, text messages. I couldn't bring myself to open all of them or to reply to all of them. But with Facebook, when someone's sending you a message and they're not your friend on Facebook, then you don't see the message. And I didn't even know about the option of seeing a message from someone who is not your friend. For example, after I opened up this message that I'm gonna tell you about now, I went into this folder that this messages from people who are not your friends on Facebook, right? And I found a message from 2 years ago that somebody sent me, and I've never seen that message before. Anyways, this message literally popped up on my phone. Until today, I don't know what I did to get to that message, but it just popped up as I turned on my phone. And it's from a guy named Asher. And he's writing to me, my name is Asher. I heard about your Sweet Boys accident. I also, over 30 years ago, I had a similar accident where a stick went into my eye. And I have a Rebbe dollar that I got from the Rebbe. Or the Rebbe was his injury was a little bit less severe, so he still had some vision in his eye, but not. Pretty much, it's no vision. But they tried for years for him to wear glasses and cover up the good eye so the bad eye can practice seeing. And he said, and the Rebbe, I have a dollar that the Rebbe held in front of my eyes, and the Rebbe made me follow that. The Rebbe kind of took the dollar and make it, back and forth, so he could follow it with his eyes. And he sent me a picture of himself with getting that dollar. And his last sentence in the message was, and the Rebbe advised my parents to not remove the eye. And when I read this, I understood that we got our answer, because we didn't tell anyone about our dilemma, if we should remove the eye or not. It wasn't something, everyone knew about the injury, everyone knew to say to heal him, but I did not share, and both of us didn't share, like it wasn't in the news that the doctors are thinking to remove the eye and we have to actually take the decision. um, Immediately that moment I stopped crying. I called Schneer. I texted him that screenshot of that message. He said, wow. um, I replied back to Asher, thank you so much. You have no idea what you just did. You just delivered the Rebbe's message to me. And I asked him if I can get that dollar for Shmuly. I didn't know then that Shmuly was, what exactly what it's going to be, but I knew that I wanted to have that dollar. So he said, yeah, of course, I'm going to give it to you. You can keep it for as long as you need. He overnighted it to me. That was Thursday. Like right before the evening, he made it to the post office. Overnighted to Friday. And no, that was Wednesday. On Thursday, Shmuly went with Schneider to the doctor in California. They slept at the oil, took an early morning flight, and first thing in the morning went to the doctor in California.
So what happened was that when I drove back from Philadelphia, Hani was calling me with this answer. I had chills. I was like, really, I felt like, wow, I was just there at the oil yesterday asking the Rebbe for a clear Eirah. I wasn't asking for a bracha. I said, Rebbe, I'm asking you for a clear answer to what to do. You have to make a decision to remove the eye or not to remove the eye. It's a very serious decision. Risk the health of the other eye. I'm not taking this decision on myself. I need to know from you, Rebbe, what to do. So here it came to such a clear answer the next day. So I was like, wow. So we drove back from Philadelphia to the oil. We slept at the oil night in time. We contacted Rabbi Kunin in Shalom Bar Kunin in California. We arranged everything for us over there, along with Rabbi Simcha Bachman. They took care of all the arrangements there. And I woke up in the morning, and I was planning to go to daven at the oil, say to Ilim, whatever. But flight was 5 o'clock in the morning. I went to sleep at like 1 or 2, and I wanted to wake up at like 4 and to go. But after such few crazy days, I realized that or I wanted to wake up at 3 or something. Anyway, I woke up late. It was like mamash before the flight, and I had not much time. But I went quickly to the oil, and I just went there. I said, Kapitel Tilim, and I said, Rebbe, we're going to have to go to California, what we need to decide to make the surgery or not. Rebbe, I need you to tell us what to do. It's the next step. You told us what to do to remove the eye or not. He said, eye not to be removed, but now there's a question with the surgery, I need a bracha, I need an answer. So I come out of the oil and I go quickly to the Igros Kodesh, and I open up the Igros Kodesh, and the Rebbe says there, B'negia to what you write about whether to do the surgery or not. So our Rebbe wrote that someone else was going to do it. So you have to ask an expert doctor, and if the expert doctor says to do it, then you go to do it. And there's no Torah, Rishus Tarif al Rapes, there gives permission to the doctor, and there was brachas there. So I felt, okay, the Rebbe gives us the bracha. So now I'm traveling peacefully, and I know that it's going to be good. So we're going to California, and we're going to Los Angeles, and we get there. They couldn't pick us up, and he goes with us to the doctor to the appointment. He asked me, "Do you want me to go?" And I said, "Yeah, come in." So the doctor is Dr. Schwartz is checking and seeing the test, the results, and he said, based on this test and everything, it's like it doesn't look like much could be done. We started telling him about the Rebbe and people davening all over the world, and he knew about the Rebbe and some connection to the Rebbe. He's actually a family member of Prime Minister Menachem Begin and Allah Shalom. And he said that so you realize that there's something special. Now, Ibachlan doesn't see kids; he see all the people. But here, he realized something special, and he knew Rabbi Kunin, Rabbi Shlomo Kunin, and he's going to give it a chance. So he checks him out, and he goes and does all the things and examination and all that. And suddenly, and I'm there, and I'm like, just waiting to see what's going to happen, waiting to see what he's going to say. And suddenly he says to me, and Bakuni was there with me, he says, he sees light. That was the first time after a week when he was checked by 4 different doctors and he didn't see light. We were there at the Oyel the night before and the day before that and asking the Rebbe for a bracha. And here we come to this doctor. Like a day before I was in Philadelphia, he didn't see light. In Miami, he didn't see light. Tallahassee didn't see light. Here is a week later, we are in the doctor in California, in Los Angeles, and he says he sees light. So right away, I was calling my wife, can get all of her. I sent her a text, and you could say about how you felt. What?
Obviously. After I got the Rebbe's answer, I knew it was going to be okay. I just didn't know how. And then the next day, it was by us. It was around lunchtime. I was busy giving lunch to my kids, and I know that Shmuly is at the same time with Schneur at the hospital. So I keep my phone with me all the time, and then I get a message. Good news, he can see light. It's like, whoa, okay. So, and then Schneur, after that, after he couldn't talk because he was in the middle of the appointment, but after that we spoke, and I had to go to California. They saw the doctor on Thursday. So the doctor said that he's going to see him again Monday after Shabbos, and then Tuesday we're going to have the surgery if everything is still in the same, okay, in the same situation. We very quickly, everything, was arranged for us, places for the kids to stay, for the rest of the kids to stay in Miami, tickets to some kids to Miami, some kids to California. Some of the kids came with me. Some of them we dropped off in Miami, and Friday basically was a big day of packing and preparing for the flight. And right after Shabbos, Sunday, early morning, we left to go to California. We arrived in California late Sunday night. It was myself and 3 of my kids.
And again, I want to say thank you for Rabbi Goldman, who was jumping into action and arranged everything, sent right away some girls, arranged for 2 girls to come to be with my wife and help the kids, because again, my wife was right after giving birth. And then when these girls left, they sent another girl who traveled with my wife to Miami. So it was really a shluchim, very, very helpful, extremely helpful there.
And the kids stayed by 2 families of shluchim in Miami and in Boca. And I continued with my newborn baby, my 2-year-old, and my 13-year-old daughter to California. We met with Shmuly there, and the next day we had the appointment with the doctor. So Monday we went to the doctor, and he explained to us what exactly the surgery is. He drew on a piece of paper how the retina looks like, how it's supposed to look like. He explained to us that working with a retina is like working with a wet tissue. So it's very, very delicate, very fragile. Obviously needs a lot of concentration. It takes time. And he doesn't know how long it's going to take. He doesn't know until he actually gets into the eye. He doesn't know what the situation of the eye is, but he explained to us everything about the surgery. And the following day, we woke up early in the morning because Shmuly is a child. So, with fasting, he needs to be fasting before the anesthesia. And we went early in the morning on Tuesday to have the surgery. In the meantime, the whole world is saying Tehillim for us. Right before the surgery, they put him to sleep, and they have an ultrasound in the eye while he's asleep. So it's just a way to look deeper into the eye. They still can't see exactly what the condition of the eye is and what the chances are and what exactly needs to be done, but it can give them a better picture. So the doctor said, I'm going to go in. He's asleep now. I'm going to go into the ultrasound, then I'm going to come talk to you, and then I'll go in for the surgery. And of course, before then, a Jewish doctor, so we put him to tefillin, Schneur put him to tefillin with him. And we gave him the Rebbe dollar that Asher sent us. He put it in his pocket, said that way it's close to where he's working, like the closest that it can be to Shmuly's eye. And he went into the operation room. In the operation room, he did the first ultrasound, and then he came to us, and then he explained to us. He told us that there's 3 options, right? 2 or 3 options.
Two options. We also had a thing we got from Rabbi Borchacht in California, something for a piece of garment from Rebbe and Chayamushka. We also had this on the Shmuly's bed in surgery as well. We had 2 options.
Okay, so basically, he doesn't know how bad the retina is injured. He just knows that in the pictures and the images that they took, his lens was totally fell off. He doesn't have a lens anymore. But the retina, they don't know exactly what the condition of it. So he said he's going to see it when he's doing the surgery, but we're not going to know until after the surgery. So if the retina is just torn, ripped, then he's going to fix it. There's more of a chance to try to fix it, to be successful with it. But he's going to do his best to fix it, and the eye there's a good chance for the eye to be saved. If the retina is totally out of place, like basically the retina, if this is the eyeball, this is the retina covers the eye like this. So the arrow was like, went into the retina, and if it just created a hole, he said it's okay. But if it created the whole retina to be like crumbled and totally not in place, then there's no way that he can do anything about it. And we're just going to have to remove the eye. And he said, if it takes a long time, then he told us it's going to take between 1 to 3 hours. The surgery ended up being a little over 3 hours. And again, the whole world is saying Tehillim with us, and we're davening and saying Tehillim. And after the surgery, before we even saw Shmuly, he came from the operation room, and he wants to talk to us. And he said, this is the most severe injury that I've ever seen. He's a senior doctor operating for more than 30 years, but he's never seen such a bad injured eye. And he said the retina was in the worst possible condition that I could ever find it. It was totally crumbled and it was just not there. So when I heard this, my heart sunk, because he said, if the retina is in that situation, is in that position, there's no way you can do anything about it. But then he quickly said, but I was able to fix it. So we were confused. We told him, how? You told us it's not going to be possible. He said, it's a miracle. I don't know how I did it, but it's a miracle.
You said this in 20, 30 years that he was a doctor, he didn't see it, right?
Yeah, he's basically never done something like this, never seen in his history something like this being done, fixing a retina that was that badly injured.
And I want to add that this was actually, the surgery was on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, so it must have been 2 years to that surgery. And, for me, it was so sure, I was so calm and so relaxed, and knew that everything would be good, that I went to daven in a minyan of Rosh Chodesh, and got an aliyah.
The Punins brought us breakfast to the hospital.
Yeah, and I was very calm and very relaxed. I didn't even feel, I thought to myself, should I stay and say Tehillim? I said, no, everything will be okay. I'm going to go to daven and the mikveh, to daven and minyan, and I'm going to aliyah.
The surgery ended up being so long that we could daven, come back, say more Tehillim, eat, do what we needed to do. Anyways, we got Shmuly back, and then the doctor explained to us that the real fun begins now, and we have to get him a massage table, and he needs to lay down for a whole week. He had to lay down. Then we went to Miami, and he was laying down for another week.
And luckily enough, we were, they found us a place to be. We weren't sure where we were going to be. Rabbi Bachman, Rabbi Kuhn arranged for Rabbi Mintz in Bel Air, We were there all the time. Very, very comfortable place to be able for. And then they arranged for the bed to come right away. We told them we need it. Told them back when they arranged. Shluchim in California were extremely, extremely helpful and everything that we need, and getting us food and taking care of literally bringing girls to play with Shmuly from Chai Lifeline from other places.
So basically, it was we didn't think he would be able to do it, but he did it like a big boy, like a like a champion. And he was laying down the whole time. We were holding his hands day and night. We were sleeping next to him.
Right, they were actually Shavuos, 3 days, and we didn't know how we were going to do it. So they sent to our back and arranged for 2 girls, still Lubavitcher girls, to come and be with them and play with them. And we also needed to go to eat. We didn't know how we were going to do it. The Shmuel is staying there, we're eating, and everything worked out. Baruch Hashem, it was really.
We fed him through the massage table and read to him books through the massage table and played board games, and he watched movies, and
yeah, a lot of pain.
Was...
A lot of pain. So we actually had to go back to the hospital after the surgery in the evening to get more medicine. We really thought we had to hospitalize him again. We didn't know to call. I went with Rabbi Kunin and we were able to get him some more medicine, so he'd be okay. And yeah, I thought that was good. Okay, so then a week later, we had to come back to the doctor for a visit because the question didn't end at the surgery. After the surgery, there was going to be, the biggest question was going to be, is the retina going to be still attached a week later? And for that, you had to lie down all the time, and you couldn't get him to lie down all the time, most of the time, a lot of the time, but obviously sometimes you couldn't. But I said, listen, we do the keli, we do the vessel for the Eibishter's brachas, and it's all the Eibishter's brachas. So he gets up here, he gets up there, we do the best we can. So after the surgery, we come for a checkup by the doctor, and the doctor, brings him up to have a special exam to see what the retina is like, and when the doctor saw the result, he was literally jumping out of joy. No exaggeration. He didn't really think that the retina was going to be still attached. And it was attached. He told his other doctor, they would tell him, look, see what happened. And like he said, sent it to this, sent the picture to, like he was so proud of himself and so happy that he was able to do it and the retina is still attached. He literally didn't believe that it could get done. And the doctor himself said all the time, said, this is a miracle. Everyone's praying, So, then we went back. He allowed us to go back to, went back to Miami. Again, we had a house there, Rabbi Klein arranged for us, and Shmuly was laying down there. And after a week, we went to Tallahassee, and we get to see the doctor for a follow-up to see if everything is okay, if the retina is still in place. And the doctor there was the same doctor we saw at the beginning. She went to her, and she checked Shmuly out, and she says, I don't think that I see something, it doesn't look good. I don't think that the retina is still attached. And which that means you got to get the eye out. And I remember we felt so down. My wife was like, well, after all of this, said to my wife, let's not lose Emunah and Bitachon now. After all, Emunah and Bitachon we have until now.
She started telling us on how we already went through so much trauma and such a difficult surgery and difficult healing, and we shouldn't do this surgery again because it's just too much trauma for it. Just let's remove the eye and let him be a kid and go back to normal. And that's basically what she said.
So I said to my wife, let's not lose hope right away. I called Dr. Schwartz and office, and he said that there's a retina guy in Tallahassee who actually trained with me, Dr. Steinmetz, not Jewish, but he said that go see him. She's not a retina specialist. So we went over to see right away. We arranged for an appointment from her office. We went to Dr. Steinmetz's office because we were like, that was very scary, although still at the Emunah and Bitachon, everything's going to work out. And we went to see the other doctor, and he checked, and he said, nah, she didn't know what she was talking about. She's not a retina specialist. Everything is okay. a year later, I mean, we still had to go back to the doctor a couple of times.
I just want to say that during that time that we were looking for cure, for care, for advice, what to do, I got contacts of a lot of people called me. You need to speak to this doctor, to that doctor. He's this specialist, that specialist, and every doctor that I spoke to, first thing when I described the accident and I described how an arrow, which is a real arrow, it's not like a plastic one, large metal arrow that was meant to kill deer, when from distance into his eye, and they all said, once again, can you repeat that? It went into a child's eye and it didn't go into the brain, didn't kill him, didn't cause any brain damage. Nobody could believe it. That's another miracle of its own, that it didn't do any other damage, didn't even touch the brain.
And then about a year later or so, we went to the doctor here for a follow-up. There was a bunch of follow-ups. And the doctor said the eye doesn't look good, it looks bad, and basically scared us. And we called the doctor and called Dr. Schwartz in California. We just seen him like a few months ago, and he said that you can wait to do the surgery. He said maybe there's another surgery. He said you can wait to do it until like the summer or coming out, which was like before Pesach. And I went to the OIL, and and by the way, that we went. I went back to the oil after we came back. I went back to the oil to say thank you to the Rebbe. It's very important to say thank you as well. And I went back to say thank you. But I went to the oil again, and I also wrote to the Rebbe about what to do. And there was a very clear letter from the Rebbe about the month of Adar and about the health and this. And it was very clear answer that we have to go now and do the surgery now. So we went back, and again we had to do the same surgery, the first surgery that we did. About a year later, a little bit less than a year later, we had to do it again. And again, the doctor didn't know if it's going to succeed or not. Again, he had to lie down for a week, but Baruch Hashem, and the doctor told us after the surgery, he said, "You're very lucky that you came now, because if you would have waited until the summer, it would have been really, really been not good." So, so Baruch Hashem was another mess. And since then, we were basically, went to a few doctors. We went to a few times to Los Angeles, and the doctor is very optimistic. And it's Baruch Hashem that, Pashut, we found the right shliach. He was basically the right shliach of the Eibishter, optimistic as he was. His optimism, his emunah, his understanding about the Rebbe's brachas, about something about the importance of people davening. All of that really played a very, very big role with keeping us optimistic and keeping us in knowing that this is, that we are on the right track, and giving us hope. And it's very important when you go to a doctor that you know which doctor you go to. Like this doctor in Miami was as good as he was, and people told me, "Wow, he couldn't help it," but we had to find the right shliach, and we were determined. I was like, I'm not giving up. I was within 3 days. I was in 3 doctors by the 3. Hi, Larry. Say hello. This is the paramedic, by the way, that I was talking about earlier. Larry, say hello.
He's muted.
You're muted.
Hey, how you doing?
One second. Larry?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. Are you unmuted now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 1 second. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. We could hear you. It wasn't the headphone. Go ahead, Larry.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Many people watching you, and I was telling him the story about how we put on tefillin together. And could you talk a little bit about what it meant to you, and about how you were coming here, and about your father, and could you go ahead?
Where do you want me to start?
Up to you. Take it anywhere you like, anywhere you want to start.
So, my father always wanted me to come meet you and your family when he was alive. He kept want me to come visit and make a introduction, and I kept blowing them off, and I'd tell them I'd go later on. And this was when you were located off of Meridian Road. So um, I blew them off for years, and then long story short, my dad passed away about 2 years ago, and then about a month later, I got a call to the house that a child was shot in the eye with a bow and arrow. And ever since then, the story wrote itself. And I was there with the rabbi and his family for the first surgery at the hospital.
I can't.
All right. Go ahead. You're good.
Oh, and I was there with you at the hospital for the first surgery, and I put on the tefillin in the ICU waiting room, and
Tefillin in the ICU waiting room, but paramedic.
Yes, and ever since then, it's been 2 years, and Shmuly looks good. I know he's a long, long road ahead of him for rehab and whatnot, but it's ironic, the twist of fate that I had, because at the day of the accident there was over 18 paramedics in Tallahassee, and I get the call because I was right down the street. So that is it.
Yeah. Larry was sharing with me how like his father wanted him to come. I said, no, eventually you made it. So thank you, Larry. Appreciate you coming up here. And basically we had, where Shmuly is right now, is doctors. I was saying is that it's very important to go to the right doctor. The Rebbe said, no, always in my mind was, the Rebbe said to always go get another opinion. So within 3 days, I was at the 3 best places in America where people come not only from America, but come from all over the world. And to get appointment to each one of these places takes days, weeks, and with the help of the shluchim everywhere, with the Eibishter's help and the Rebbe's brachas, it was basically amazing to see how everything.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it's everything came together, and now Shmuly can still see light, Baruch Hashem, and that's a big hope, because we were talking about could be a big damage to the brain, but Baruch Hashem nothing else happened. The eye could have. Everybody said you got to take the eye out. Baruch Hashem, we kept the eye. We were able to keep the eye, and yes, there's a process. Yes, we don't know what's going to be with vision in the future, but we're only hoping for good. We know the Rebbe will continue with us. So that's basically it. So if anybody has questions, we'll be happy to take any questions. You can unmute yourself and ask anything you like. You just have to unmute yourself.
Hi. Rabbi, can you hear me, Rabbi and Rebbitzin?
Yes, we can.
This is Lisa Reingold. Our daughter went to school in Tallahassee, and you and the Rebbitzin were so wonderful, Lauren Reingold. So my husband and I just want to thank you for all the wonderful years. We davened for Shmuly day in and day out. And I know that you're very good friends with the Libros, and we would always daven together. And it's not a question, but we just want to say again how the brachos from the Rebbe and all of the shluchim and all the people in the world davening and just really focusing in on Shmuly's refuah has really just been an amazing story. And when you told the story today, my husband and I, our hearts are just filled with such love for your family, and we're so grateful. May Shmuly just continue to receive more brachos, and may everything continue to go well for this beautiful boy.
Amen. Amen. Send best regards to Lauren Reingold. I also want to say thank you to Rabbi Kafarsky, who was very involved and very helpful. Mr. and Mrs. Maurice, the cynic, who helped, and many other people. Anybody has other question, other thing you want to share? you're welcome to unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Yafi Rabin from Detroit. Your wife was supposed to come to my house just before Corona, and I was looking forward to seeing you. So it's very good to hear. So do we not continue to say Tillim for Shmuly, or do we continue to say Tillim?
Of course, we have to continue to say Tehillim, and Shmuly is a question here. How's Shmuly doing? So Shmuly is doing good. Shmuly is very happy. Shmuly is a very good child. He's a very happy child, and but the vision is not there. He sees light, which is a big brachas, because if he doesn't
Right.
see light, that means that there's a question about whether the eye could stay or not. So as long as he sees light, that's a good sign. And for 2 years, what he's doing good. The eye is doing good. Every time we go for a follow-up, but we went for two follow-ups later to the doctor, and the doctor was like, told me, I'm telling you, the doctor says this is not less than a miracle that can make me fum. Is that
Wow.
this words? And
Wow.
non-Jewish, non-observant doctor is not.
We still need a miracle to keep on keeping the eye on.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's still at risk.
Right.
Okay, we will continue to daven for Shmuel ben Chana for a complete refuah shlema, and I hope to see you sometime in Detroit, Mitzvah Hashem.
I promised my daughter I would come next year for production. So
Okay, so you know the hotel is available.
thank you.
So people ask the question, what is Shmuly wearing? So today is just the eye. Actually, if you look at the eye from far, you can't see much. If you look at it from close, obviously you see, because he lost the color in the eye, around the eye, and what he did in the surgery, they had to fill the eye with oil, and so there's constantly, we have to make sure that the oil stays there, and which the oil also holds the retina in place. So there's a lot of details and a lot of things that needs to happen. He needs to be wearing glasses, protecting glasses that just to protect his eye, his right eye, the left eye, the good eye, which obviously it's a little bit challenging because he's been breaking them again and again and again. He doesn't like it so much, but he has just to wear glasses to protect his eye. And when he plays sport, he has to wear protective glasses. But otherwise, he can do everything and anything. He plays regularly. He moves. He's a very, very happy child. We didn't talk to him much about the circumstances, and we're not talking much about that. He went through some post-trauma therapy, and obviously he has an impact on him, and he still needs some therapy, just to help him with with all this trauma that he went through. But other than that, you wouldn't really see it, and then you wouldn't. That's amazing nest, which is like, and I think he once said to Hani, what did he tell you once, Hani? About the eye? He said something, is going to go away, or something like, what did he say?
In the beginning, he said, I think, like he said, it's going to go away.
He said, is it when is it going to hand or something like that? He didn't, I think now he realized that it's a serious thing, but
we're grateful for what we have. It's still a long road ahead of us.
Yeah, it's a big bachas. There's definitely big bachas here all the way. Any other questions? Anybody wants to say anything else? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? Can I be heard?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Sarah Morgenstern from Morristown, and we were following Shmuly and your family from the moment we heard about it. And I want to thank you for keeping us so well informed, because my family knew about it and everybody kept asking, how's he doing? How's the little boy doing? And we're just so glad that you kept us informed. We feel like we're almost a part of your family, and we were davening for Shmuly and saying Tehillim, and we're very, very grateful to have this update and to meet you like this. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's actually is a very special thing, and we felt that it's important, and we must update everybody. Everybody was there for us, and it's only because of everybody's helps and support and davening. There's no doubt that all of this helped. You know that was clear nisim, right and left, continuous nisim all the time. And people tell us they daven, they say the Elim, we should bear for them, and it's really tremendous brachas that we have seen. So it's just, it's really thankful to everyone, and the doctor wanted us to do some type of therapy. The doctor wanted us to do, which is very difficult to do. Obviously, Shmuly has to do, but so far we can't get him to do it. To work on the to discover the left eye, the good eye, so the right eye could be worked on and could exercise. So, but if we cover his right eye, if he covered the other eye, the good eye, the left eye, then he doesn't see much. That's anything. So it's like putting him in the darkness. The doctor wants to do it. I mean, not the doctor in California, but the doctor locally here. So that's something that's really getting very hard to do, because it's like basically putting him in the darkness. And so he refused to do it. But other than that, Doctor in California is very optimistic, and he said there's things, their invention, the new invention, and things coming out, and he's very optimistic. And he's every time we come and he see how Shmuly is doing, he's like very happy, super happy with how things are going.
Baruch Hashem, only good news.
Amen. Amen.
If I could mention something.
Hi, Rabbi Amar. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, wonderful. I'm a good friend of Rabbi Orechman for many years. I actually studied to become a rabbi with him. And I just like to mention that I think one of the most impressive things, impressive lessons of this whole tremendous challenge, because there's nothing more challenging, God forbid, than to go through this with a child, was to see both your wife and yourself hold very strong, keep a positive outlook, keep always, and notice each time there was something positive, that's what you decided to focus on. And I think it was wonderful that every opportunity you had to have another Farbrengen and another Hasidic gathering and bring people together in unity, right? I'm sure all these things contributed to the fact that sometimes Hashem's blessings are hidden, and the fact that we decide to focus on them instead of focusing on the negative and going into a panic mode, that itself, I think, is the greatest lesson that we as rabbis, as a community, we learned. And I just like to extend my wishes that that's Hashem, that we should no longer, and you should no longer know of anything negative, and it should only be revealed kindness and goodness for you in a tremendous abundance, and that we really, really appreciate the example you both are, and your family is, Baruch Hashem, for the whole community and for all of us worldwide.
Thank you, Amar. There's no other option, and all idea of Emunah and Bitachon is in a time when you don't see the Eibishter's ways where help could come from. And this was a very similar situation, but being that I'm learning about Emunah and Bitachon, I've been learning Chovos HaLevavos, I'm learning the Rebbe Sichos about that. And actually, the JLI class that I had the day before the class, before this all after the day before Lag BaOmer, actually helped me to strengthen my Emunah and Bitachon as well, because it was talking about Mechadish B'tuvi B'chol Yom Ma'aser V'Reishis, and the Eibishter renews his energy every minute. So we always said, I was telling my wife and we were telling each other, listen, the Eibishter is Mechadish Kol Rega, every moment is Mechadish everything. So you can be Mechadish that everything should be working and everything should be fine, and so this is all of this. In times like this challenge or any other challenge and challenging time that we're going through right now, is basically having a very, very strong Emunah and Bitachon Eibishter, knowing that although we don't know where help will come from, as Im Hashem, Oiseh Shamayim Va'oretz. And even though sometimes we don't see where the keli, where the vessel is even coming from. And once there it's from Rabbi Rabashkin, and Shlomo Rabashkin that says, you know, V'uyechal Kalecha, there's a pirush that says, V'uyechal Kalecha, Ashlech al Hashem Ya'avcha, V'uyechal Kalecha, you know, throw your trust in Hashem and He will sustain you, Yechal Kalecha, meaning He will provide the keli. Don't say, look, I don't know, there's no keli, so I can believe in the Eibush, you know, I have to make a keli, but I don't see a keli. Let the Eibush make the keli. And this is what the situation, very, you know, went to the big doctor, biggest doctor in Miami, who said, can't do anything. And what do? What you do is you have Munah B'tachon the Eibush, and you go to the Rebbe. And that's also one of the lessons from the stories, that you have doubts, you have questions, you have things, you always go to the Rebbe. If you live with the Rebbe, and if you do what the Rebbe wants, and you try, you know, it's kind of say we do what the Rebbe wants, or we try to do what the Rebbe wants. So you look to the Rebbe, you learn the Rebbe Sichos, you learn the Rebbe Mamoim, and you do what the Rebbe wants. Then you could always go back to the Rebbe and demand from the Rebbe. We demanded, we didn't ask the Rebbe, we demanded from the Rebbe an answer to let us know what to do. So you know, so this is all really, you know, as I said, it's all about big emunah and bitachon. I mean, there's some notes here about. Yeah. So anyhow, so if you have any more questions, any more things you want to add, please do. And it requires a continuous emunah and bitachon even now. Seeing your child like this with one eye that is not functioning, and you know, it's a little bit hard, it's a little bit challenging, but just we know that just the same way we had the emunah and bitachon until now, you know, and the Eibishter gave us a brachos, and the Rebbe gave us a brachos. We will see continuous brachos of the Rebbe, and there's no doubt that you know, and not only in health wise, financially wise as well. There was one time that we were in Shlichus and we needed $10,000 to do payrolls. In 2 days was a payroll coming, and I told my wife was telling me, you know what's going to be? I said, no, don't worry, it's going to be good. You make a small keli and you write to the Rebbe, and everything will be good. And 2 days later, my bank is $50,000, $60,000 that I didn't expect coming out of nowhere. It's always proven to me that at times where you don't see any way with Echateva, if you have complete bitachon, the Eberstein, complete bitachon meaning not to worry, to be calm. And that's what we did during this time. Even when we came back after the surgery and the doctor said, I didn't go well and you have to remove the eye. And I wanted to, my bitachon, when I wanted to drop to the ground, I said, no, I'm not, it's just a test. We're not going to let this bitachon go away. So my wife was telling me after all of this that we did, now she tells us you have to remove the eye. So I was telling my wife, you know, no, after all of this, emunah bitachon that we had, are we going to let this emunah bitachon drop? No, we're not letting this emunah bitachon drop. You know, our emunah bitachon goes on and continues, and we have, you know, we're not going to let it go. And Baruch Hashem continue to see nisim and iflos. So as long as you have emunah bitachon, and you're calm and relaxed, and one thing that really helped, and the Rebbe said that, is to learn Chayvus Alavavas. Chayvus Alavavas, Sefer HaBitachon, Sha'ar HaBitachon, is really great and unbelievable stuff. And the Rebbe told people to read it, and maybe read it a couple of different times. And it helps me. It helped me during that time. And you can't wait till challenges comes your way to now start having bitachon. It's something you have to have in your, you know, your pocket. You have to have it ready, that when you need it, you put it into place. And the only way to do it is first to learn. The Rebbe's, the Sichos, there's Igros from the Rebbe. There are books today. There's a book called Simcha Edgar. What's the name in English? That, you know? It's about challenges and joy. I think it's by Rabbi Majeski, very small book, very, very powerful. There is a book about Bitachon Emunah by Eichel Menachem. It's a black book with collection of letters from the Rebbe about Emunah and Bitachon. And it's just to have Emunah and Bitachon, the only way to do that is to really learn these ideas of Emunah and Bitachon, to live it, to learn it, to live it, to practice it, you know, to daven, it takes work. It takes work, but there's no other way to do it. There's no other way. Before Pesach, we were sick with the corona. I was sick with that for 2 weeks. and I was very, very weak. And it was right before Pesach, was our busiest time of year. And I didn't know how we're going to do it. This is our busiest time. This is our, when we raise the most money and everything. But I said, if now I can't work, that means the Eibishter doesn't want me to work, and put my trust in the Eibishter, and the Eibishter will come through, and he will. And then he will help, and Taka, it was unbelievable. There was things came, it was a Pashut, really, everything needed to come down, all the brachos, everything needed, Pashut came unbelievable way. So it's proven, it works. We just need to do it, and also we need to write to be in connection with the Rebbe on an ongoing basis. It's not like only we have a challenge to write to the Rebbe, but we try to write to the Rebbe every week or every 2 weeks, to report about activities, to report about good news. In our shlichus, we always try to ask ourselves before we do anything, what would the Rebbe say about it? What did the Rebbe wants us to do? So, when you live with the Rebbe and you need the Rebbe is there for you. There's no doubt. The Nasi Adel, Nasi Tzayin Marisai, even in the most challenging time, the Rebbe is there. If we are Mekusha to the Rebbe is Mekusha with us, and we'll write to the Rebbe. And we'll see you this minute for us. Any other questions? If anybody else wants to say anything, if not, we're going to end this Zoom Seuda Seidaya without food. But that was the whole idea of this, is just to say thank you to the Eibishter, the Rebbe for his brachas, and for everybody that helped and reached out in challenging times. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your davening, for your tefillas, for everything. And we should have only good news. And Mashiach now, we said one more mitzvah to bring Mashiach.